everyone can see now?
Everyone can come in, yeah.
Okay. Our boys are frozen.
So I've muted everyone because
Hannah, can you hear my kids? You can't hear anyone, right? No? The door's closed. I can hear those. It's fine.
No, I can't
Okay,
hear
cool.
anything. Can you hear the music? Oh. What?
talana eebbahaga saaro tawxiidka calluunba tirtiri karaye talana eebbahaga saaro qadarka rabna kama talabsanaye balse taxadir haytaaban meel qudha hataaban wejiga hataaban tirtiro gacmahaaga madhmaydh tallaaba u jirso dadka kale hadduu ku taabanaa cidow tegini takooro naftaada baano tirtiro gacmahaaga madhmaydh tallaaba u jirso dadka kale hadduu ku taabanaa cidow tegini takooro naftaada baano tawxiidka calluunba tirtiri karaye talana eebbahaaga saaro tawxiidka calluunba tirtiri karaye talana eebbahaaga saaro
مصباح
Okay, so hi everyone. Good evening and welcome to Confined but Creative Live. My name is Hannah Abdi and it's a pleasure to welcome you. I'm excited to be the newest member of the team as the digital content and social media marketing admin at CADE. We also have Ibrahim with us tonight, even though not visible, but working hard in the background to provide the Zoom participants with closed captioning. So we'll try and speak a little bit slower than usual so that he can try and catch everything. CADE's new program, Confined but Creative, showcases creative responses by Somali artists to the COVID-19 crisis in the UK. CADE has, alongside so many from the Somali community, been affected by COVID-19. The loss of members from CADE's family who have been a part of the organization for years, writer Mohammed Bashir and singer Hidaydi. Our own artistic director, Hannah Ali, has also lost her father to this pandemic, so we truly feel the hurt, frustration, and sadness, and hope that we can all unite again, face to face, to celebrate the lives of all the amazing people we have lost. Our thoughts and prayers are with their families. This project is CADE's way of showing our condolences to the community through the arts with support from the Arts Council. We ask that you use the hashtag and join in on the conversation for this evening and to live tweet the event. So the hashtag is #ConfinedButCreative. I'd also like to acknowledge our founder and managing director, Ayan Mahmood, and our artistic director, Hannah Ali, as well as our curators for Confined but Creative, Mohammed Hakel and Mumtaz Mehri, for their dedication in championing Somali creative during this lockdown. We're still open for submissions and welcome both established and emerging artists to create works of art inspired by the quarantine to show how COVID-19 has affected the Somali community in any creative way. Please visit our website, cade.org, for more info on how to submit. The artwork you're all about to enjoy is also on our website, so please go support. Our amazing host for this evening, Bar Hirsi, is an associate senior leader at an inner London school. She has 13 years experience in education. She is also an educational advocate, helping Somali parents navigate the school system. Outside of education, Bar is a radio host and a YouTuber, as well as a presenter, and has hosted many events celebrating Somali culture. Without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Bar Hirsi now, and I hope you all enjoy these amazing performances and discussion as much as I do.
Thank you very much, Hannah. I'm going to try and slow down. I naturally speak really, really fast, so this is going to be a challenge for me. Thank you for having me, Kate. Thank you for Hannah Ali for thinking of me for hosting this amazing opportunity for young people to showcase their art. And I am particularly excited and honored to be engaging in a conversation with 5 young artists which will be discussing their submissions, their artwork, their writing, and have a conversation about how they've dealt with the lockdown and how being creative, they might have been confined, but being creative was a way for them to be able to deal with the lockdown. So I am going to introduce you to each young artist. They're the ones who are going to do themselves the introduction. Then they will either read a short extract from their writing or submission or showcase their art. And then I will happily, and I'm looking forward to this, ask them a few questions. I'm hoping that you will be inspired by some of the work. I know I have. I've seen the pieces of art that you're going to be seeing tonight. I'm sure some of you have seen it already on the CADE website. Also, if you notice, some of the young people have their handle, so please follow them and support them. So without further ado, I'm going to start with Samia. Samia, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Could you please introduce yourself and then read an extract from your submission?
Hi everyone, I'm Samia Morset and I'm a 15-year-old aspirant gynecologist and author from London. Corona Style Wedding is the first story I've intended to be both light-hearted and comedic to dilute the sadness of our current situation. COVID-19 has not only changed our daily routines and practices, it has also taken a toll on the lives of our loved ones and caused the death of many in both our community and the wider world. I will now read an excerpt of my story. The joke was Ramla and Hashi came in 2 meters apart, face mask and everything. She looked like the bride of coronavirus. A white lace dress with a cute matching white face mask. You couldn't even see the professional makeup she was wearing from her nose down. It made me wonder, is she wearing matte or liquid lipstick? What shade, red, pink, or peach was she wearing under her veil? At least her hair was beautifully styled, unlike my own. They had no bridesmaids or best men. Their facial expression mimicked that of funeral goers, not a couple getting married. They walked to the center and Awal Adin's wedding song came on. Finally, they held hands and danced a little. Unfortunately, the guests couldn't come and join the dance. Trying to capture the moment, I got out my iPhone and snapped the whole somber time. The Hoyas went to their children and exchanged plastic smiles, possibly trying to improve the annoying situation. They then hugged the newly wedded couple. Yes, we Somalis defied the rules and embraced one another.
Thank you very much, Samia. Samia, I know that you said that you are an aspiring author, and did you say oncologist?
Gynecologist.
Gynecologist, I apologize. Okay, so is it true, and I think you told me this before, that you haven't written, you didn't write, your first story that you actually wrote was during lockdown?
Yep.
Okay, so many people have actually become quite creative during lockdown. How would you say has this particular period sort of allowed you to be creative? How did it inspire you to write?
It was both. There was two elements that actually prompted me to write short stories. The first is I was watching a Kevin James comedy movie where he was playing he was an author and he was writing a story about a protagonist that was a spy or whatever, and he wanted to bring that to life. So he published his story as a non-fiction piece, and people actually thought he was a spy. So they actually started buying his book, and he ended up living that book as a reality. So I was like to myself, wow, that's a good movie. So then I got out my laptop and started writing just off the top of my head. I wrote a few drafts, and then the rest is history, 11 pieces from then. And
MashaAllah, 11 pieces?
Yeah.
And you said most of your writing are, did you say there were, I remember you telling me, what genre do you usually write?
I write thriller/horror stories.
And you said aspiring writer. So when are you going to be a writer, considering you've got 11 pieces that you have written? You have showcased one piece and, you know, probably hundreds of people have read it by now. You have now just read a piece of your work. When would you call yourself a writer? Because many of the people I've either interviewed or spoke to are friends. They often say, you know, they have this imposter syndrome where they think, I can't be a writer. Why can't you just say, I'm a writer? I'm a young writer.
I don't know. I feel like for me, I've told myself that authors are mostly adults and people that have both a job, a main job, and they're also authors, or maybe they're just an author as their work. So I was like, they're adults. And when I write my debut novel or something that's best-selling, then I can say I'm an author, that I'm on the same level as them then. Or maybe I'll do maybe when I'm younger, if I published it when I'm younger, then I can say I'm a published author, then I'm an author. But now I can't really say that because I just have pieces that I've just drafted. You know, anyone can say they're author if that's
I
the
think
case.
you're right. I think you're right. You're definitely a young writer, and you can say you're a young writer. You don't have to wait for it to be published for you to be a young writer. What I'm trying to say is own the fact that you can write so well and that you found something you're good at and that you love and you're enjoying. And you don't need the world to tell you when you are ready to, you know, classify yourself or label yourself as one. Tell me what this particular novel that you have in mind, what is it going to be about?
It's a horror novel set in the Victorian era, maybe the 1800s. And it's a woman that she's basically she has an animosity against men just because she just, like, in her younger life, she was upset by her father, who really messed up life for her early on. And she basically goes on a killing spree.
You have thought about it a lot. Have you started planning already?
Yep.
So you started
I've
planning
wrote my prologue.
Wow, okay. And is it for you? Are you writing for young adults? Or are you writing for young adults?
Yeah, teens and young adults.
Excellent. I mean, I know a few Somali authors. Hannah Ali is one. I look forward to actually reading that novel and championing it and making sure that it's in our school libraries. I'm a teacher. I love making sure that books are in the hand of young people. And the fact that it's written by a young Somali person, I actually, you know, it's the kind of things that I live for, that representation. Please tell me that the characters in your book, you're going to include some Somalis, because I have to see a Somali name in a book.
Maybe, you know, maybe.
Okay. Well, we look forward to reading it. Thank you so much for sharing your work and sharing your inspiration. I know for a fact probably someone is going to listen to this video and hopefully, or watching us now or watch it another time, and will be inspired by your journey. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I'm now going to move on to our next young artist, Feyza. If you can introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Feyza. I am a photographer and artist based in Birmingham. I love telling stories through my photography work. I love telling poems and creating like a fairy tale kind of work. My photographs are always like a projection of my mood and feelings, and that's why I feel like my photographs mostly are like a visual journal to me. And each photograph holds like a very unique meaning and story behind it.
Feyza, I absolutely love the piece that you have up on the screen. Can you tell me when you started sort of taking photographs? When did you start?
I started taking photographs like in, I would say, college in sixth form, but then I started actually posting them like during university.
And has COVID-19, I should say, I keep saying COVID-19, but it's really about lockdown. Has lockdown helped you be more creative? Has it sparked your creativity even more?
Yeah, I think I would say that it did spark my creativity, and it has helped me as I was able to learn more new skills and actually go and try to improve on my skills by watching videos and how I can like try other things. And I've also realized that I started experimenting a lot, which I never had the time before.
And Feyza, are you Is this all self-taught?
Yeah, I'm self-taught. I haven't like had the time to have a class yet.
Mashallah, it's actually beautiful and stunning. I absolutely love it. I love the fact that the people, the subjects in your photographs are, you know, a representation of you. Is that a conscious decision? Because they look like you, they're women who look like you.
I've always wanted to use Black Muslim women, as I feel like they're not represented in the media a lot. So I wanted at least to represent my own people.
And where do you showcase your work?
I mainly showcase it on Instagram, as I use Instagram like as a portfolio.
I noticed that you don't have your your social media at. Maybe we can share it in the chat if people want it, so people can see it. Is it on there, or I can't see?
Yeah, we can share it in the chat.
Thank you very much. And are you working a particular theme? What inspires you to take these different types? I see you've gone from having, you know, subjects to now, you know, something completely different. What inspires you?
I feel like I've always loved editorial photography as well as visual art. So
Okay.
those things are things I mostly do. So I think mostly it's just I love dreamy photos and like a fairy tale kind of theme. So always try to go through that theme because it's just something dear to me.
I definitely see that theme coming through. Can you just tell us a little bit about the photo that's in front of us right now? How did you create that?
I created this photo as it was like in the summer. I was experimenting and I found like this crystal cube in my house, and I said to my sister, let's go outside and take some video like pictures using the crystal cube, and it literally just came out so well. So like literally just using like random props inside your house can make a big deal to your work.
Well, like I said, I think your artwork is striking and it's beautiful. What is your next plans? What are you hoping to do?
In the future, I'm
Yes.
actually working on a new series. It's like photography / poetry. So I'm hoping to like do a series where I can put my poetry work on top of the pictures. So it's like short little captions that actually relate to me and like the picture.
That sounds really, really interesting. I've got a question here, which somebody asked and said, what inspires you the most?
I think everyday things, to be honest. Sometimes I would be walking in literally down the road and listening to something, and that would just spark my interest. I'm like, oh, I should try this, or I should write that down.
Yeah, I can see how that is. I mean, I started writing, I've been writing for years, but I've started sharing my writing and writing a lot more during lockdown. So I understand how everyday life, everyday situation can inspire your artwork. Thank you so much for sharing your work with us and talking us through it. I hope that someone somewhere, you know, do you know of any Somali artists? Because I'm hoping you guys have some sort of, you know, representation, someone that you think, okay, these are my artists that inspire me and I look up to this particular Somali artist. Do you know any?
Yeah, I know a couple of Somali artists which inspire me a lot. When I look at their work, it's just very like colorful and meaningful, which inspires me a lot to like create more.
I love that. And I hope that's, you see how what you just said now, someone else is going to say that about you. I guarantee it. Thank you so much for sharing your work and talking to me. Now we're going to move on to our next talented young artist. Should say writer is Rashid. Good evening, Rashid.
Hi.
Hello. Can you just introduce yourself?
My name is Rashid. I'm 13 in year 9, growing up in Sheffield. I like to read a lot, so I like to read and write a lot. So I was excited when this competition was brought to my attention by my mother. I want to be a lawyer when I'm older in the field of medicine, representing doctors and big hospitals, stuff like the NHS. As a progression to my career, I want to join the House of Lords and change the law and help people a lot and become a law lord. And if, say, later I change my mind, I want to become a doctor and be involved in research and development of new medicines, especially in antibiotics. since we're running out of ways to fight bacteria.
MashaAllah, I asked you to introduce yourself, and I don't know anybody else who is able to tell me so much about their dreams and their aspirations and be able to confidently tell me what you just did. And at the age of 13, let me tell you, that is refreshing to see. Often as a teacher, I hear people talk about how, especially young boys, have this lack of direction and lack of aspirations and lack of, dreams. And it's absolutely heartwarming and such a proud, I don't know you, but I feel so invested. I'm so proud of the fact that you come up and you have all these amazing dreams. And I hope that you achieve each and every one of them. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you're going to, what you're going to read for us, the story?
I wrote an essay on life during lockdown, during Ramadan and Eid, and how it's affected us and our family. So it's an essay called COVID Chronicles.
Okay.
If you haven't been living under a rock, you'll know that there is a plague which seems to be wreaking havoc on the world, killing people wherever it goes. This virus is stubborn and has an aggression towards anything. At first, it was a virus originating in China, which couldn't spread to Europe or North America, and it was nothing to worry about. Then it was Asia's problem, and in turn turned into a global pandemic. To combat the spread of this malicious virus, the UK has been placed on lockdown, where everything except essential work is closed. Lockdown means leaving your home is prohibited, seeing family is prohibited, and doing anything worth doing this summer has been stopped due to the virus. This is obviously stressful for a lot. I've been spending quarantine playing games with my friends on the PlayStation and doing homework. I can talk to them online, so it's a way to keep in touch with my friends without physical contact. There's such a variety of games to play, like driving and shooting games, which are the best in my opinion. This year, we observe Ramadan, which is a month of fasting done by Muslims. Ramadan during lockdown was easier. We were confined to the house, which meant a lot less pain for us. Ramadan consists of 30 days where food and drink is not allowed during the daylight hours for around 16 to 18 hours, followed by a feast at sundown. My family and I did this every day for 30 days. This year was my first time fasting all 30 days, and it was really hard for the first 10 days around there. After day 10 and 11, it felt like it was a habit. We normally wake up around 2:30 to 3 a.m. for suhoor, which means the last meal of the day, and around an hour later, we stop eating and continue the rest of the day like normal, just without food or water. After the 30 days of Ramadan, there's a big celebration called Eid. You wake up on Eid day, you get presents, and eat breakfast on normal time, and then you put on your special Eid clothes and meet with your community and pray Eid prayer. Following the prayer, I would normally meet up with my whole family and play with my cousins at my grandmother's house. We would go into her garden or go to the cinemas. However, unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, this has all been stopped this year. It was extremely saddening, but we spoke through big FaceTime apps like House Party. Nevertheless, this lockdown has done some positive things. I've been brought closer to my family, and I've been doing a lot more exercise with less travel. The amount of industrial output, the amount of CO2 and other pollutants into the air have been slowly decreasing because there are no cars and big factories open. And in consequence, my asthma and allergies have been more under control, which means I'm feeling a lot healthier. In conclusion, this lockdown has showed positives and negatives for everyone, and I hope it ends soon.
Thank you very much for reading your essay for us. Could I ask you, what was the reason why you chose writing instead of doing something else creatively?
I don't really know. I enjoy writing a lot, so it's fun for me. So when I got the
piece you've shared, published, is this the first piece of writing you've had published?
No, I had I think 2 poems of mine published in 2 different books.
MashaAllah.
One I wrote in year 6, one I wrote in year 8.
MashaAllah, that's so inspiring. I have an 11-year-old boy who's loves writing too, and he's had 2 poems published as well. And as a mom, I'm sure your mom did the same. Did she buy multiple of those books to share with family and friends? Yeah,
I did. Bought about 10. Everyone.
I did the exact same thing. Everyone in my family had to have that book and make sure what page my son's poems were in. It's so beautiful to see. I mean, you're such an amazing writer. Are you hoping to continue writing? Is something you're passionate about?
writing is something I'm very passionate about. I want to write books on law so that universities can use them and help students and stuff like that.
There's something you wrote about that I actually wanted to pick up on, simply because I'm a mom and I'm always telling my children off. And I know many parents who do this. Can you tell me, you talked about how you used PlayStation as a way to connect with your friends. Can you tell me how important it was for you to maintain that relationship? And for any parents that are listening, that we often think of all the negative aspects of you playing games and you guys spend for hours, how important was for you to make sure you get to talk to your friends on a regular basis?
Well, a lot of people are only friends because you see them 5 times a week going to school.
I agree.
So if without the PlayStation, a lot of friendships could deteriorate and people could grow and change and not continue to be friends when we go back to school. So with the PlayStation, with 16 of us all together in a party, talking together, playing different games, having fun together, it was a way to keep us connected without being in physical contact, which was against the rules of lockdown. So it helped us a lot mentally to like stay together.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm often having to argue with my husband, my sisters, and I'm having, as a teacher, I'm always saying it's important for the kids to maintain those relationships. And sometimes the PlayStation might be the only way to do it. But thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you. I look forward to reading your poetry. If you share it somewhere, please let us know. I don't know if Kate's got a place where they can share your work. And I look forward to reading your writing, whatever you do, inshallah. You have a very bright future ahead of you. I'm now going to be speaking to your younger brother, Jabril. Good evening, Jabril.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and then just read a little bit, just an extract of your actual essay that you submitted, okay?
Okay.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jabril, spelled with double E. And I was born in Sheffield. And, well, you see the sheet here says I'm almost 11 years old, but I'm actually 11 years old right now. And I usually like to listen to all types of music, which is sometimes why my dad says, turn it down, Jabril. And I also like to play video games, just like Rashid, except on my computer or my Nintendo Switch, like TF2, Roblox, Mario Kart, games like that. And sometimes I like to make a joke, but once in a while, it's either going to make everybody in the room burst out laughing, or it's just going to turn into a complete war zone because the joke might have been a bit offensive. You see, I'm actually a neuroatypical boy, and some of my favorite foods are bananas and chickens. And luckily for me, my mother has amazing cooking skills and makes the best chicken, and also has a lot of money to spend on bananas. Sometimes it could end up with my mother making a joke about how I am the cause of global warming, because bananas are grown and transported from far off lands. This, I guess, is kind of true. So, you said you wanted an extract from my essay, right?
Yes, please.
Right. So should I read the first? So
Read the first paragraph.
Okay, I'm going to read the first paragraph to you. Actually, I think I'm going to read the second paragraph because you heard the first paragraph on Wednesday. Oh, okay. I'll actually start from first and carry on to the second paragraph. As I'm sure you are aware of, there's been a global pandemic that has caused everyone to go into lockdown. I wanted to talk about my experience while I was confined. At first, I thought this would be a good time to just stay in my room and play video games. Please, don't ever do that. But my mother had different ideas. Since we couldn't touch or interact with other people or visit family and friends, my mother decided that this would be an amazing time to get us to exercise and boost our intelligence by reading and learning, thus become more knowledgeable about the world. Usually every day, except for the weekends, we would do some form of exercise, whether at home or out in the park. We would do a 5 kilometer park run, My mother also introduced a regime of educational activities found in books and on the internet. On top of this, we were being sent all sorts of work to do from school, such as virtual learning. Virtual School is a website on our school page and blog where we could do work the teachers had set for us. It was at this point in time that Ramadan had arrived. This had caused some problems. We were in a global lockdown where contracting the virus could be the end for you if you're an older person or had underlying health issues, and we could not eat food because of the fact that we were fasting. I only decided to fast on the second day of Ramadan. This was hard as I am a 10-year-old boy, 11 now. I started to have headaches caused by dehydration and lack of sleep since I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning for suhoor. However, at evening, we could look forward to having a feast. When we could finally stop fasting, we broke fast with all sorts of delicious foods, like biscuits and watermelons and all sorts of other sweets and fruits. However hard it was, I stuck out with fasting, at least for a while. Okay, I think I'm going to... Okay, in my essay, I think I'm going to stop there for my extract.
Thank you very much. You know, I absolutely love your character. Every time, like, I know I've met you previously, but whenever I hear you, you make everyone smile, including me. And can I say, I would like to take, you know, your mum? If I can bottle your mum up and actually share her around, that'd be great. The fact that you are doing some exercise and you're doing all the other things, you know, and you're not just stuck at home, that is excellent parenting. So tell mum I said you're doing an amazing job, because you, young man, just by reading that, I can tell you've got, just like your brother, you've got a bright future, mashallah. So tell me this exercise that you do. I'm just curious now. We're doing press-ups, sit-ups, what are we doing?
So usually I'd go to parkrun, but sometimes I do push-ups, and every once in a while, my dad will ask me to come downstairs and lift some weights or do squats or lift more weights.
Well, I could do the squats, the weights, the running, the whole lot. I've been eating so much during this lockdown. Can you tell me, do you enjoy writing like your brother?
Yeah, I enjoy writing like my brother. If I'm being honest here, writing is just my second nature.
Nice. And what do you want to be when you get older, when you grow up?
When I get older, I want to be a scientist in the field of making remedies and recipes for things like medicine for doctors.
MashaAllah. So you and my daughter have the exact same interests, because my daughter is in year 12, will be in year 13 next year. That's what she'll be studying at university. She's studying medicinal chemistry. So she's interested in making using chemistry to make medicine, essentially. Yeah. So actually, if she's much older than you, so inshallah, when she gets to that field, maybe that's someone that you can talk to.
Okay. Thank you.
I was going to ask you one last question. Can you tell me what inspires you to write?
Who inspires me to write? If I'm being honest here, reading is actually my inspiration to write. Reading amazing books like Harry Potter, or the Harry Potter series, or Mortal Engines, or other books like that.
Say that again.
What really inspires me, though, to read is amazing books like Harry Potter, the series, or Mortal Engines, another really good book series, and others, and other series of books, like, or even, and right now, I'm reading The Subtle Knife, the Philip Pullman books of the Dark Arts. I think that's what it's called.
Jabril, I have a question for you. Someone's posted. They said, have you ever thought about writing comedy? You are so funny, mashallah. And I'm not, this is honestly, everyone thinks you're very, very funny young man. Have you thought about writing comedy?
About writing comedy?
Yes.
No, I've actually never thought about writing comedy. I mean, I could write comedy if a person truly wanted me to. I'll give them a proper laugh. But the kind of books, the kind of essay, I mean, papers that I like to write, like something like this, is just really is just a version where it's like really down to earth and trying to relate with you to things.
Yeah, I see that because you're using your personal life to be able to reflect and write your pieces. But I think you should have a go at comedy. And I think you are going to make a lot of people laugh and make some money as well. Lots of money. One last question. Who is your favorite author?
Ooh, my favorite author. Well, I can't really choose a favorite author. There's so many amazing authors. But if I wanted to truly choose a favorite author, I think it would be a close one between J.K. Rowling's and Philip Pullman, but it would be Philip Pullman.
Okay, so you do have a favorite author. I don't know how you guys read Harry Potter. I had a go. Wallah, I just, I didn't understand half of the things. I couldn't continue. I was looking at my children. I was like, you guys, you're really enjoying this. I can't read it. I cannot. But I'm glad that you're enjoying it and it's inspiring you. And again, like your brother, you have a really bright future ahead of you. And it's nice seeing young Somali boys. That's just, mashallah, it's a testament to your parents. And I look forward to wherever life leads you, okay? Inshallah.
Inshallah. Well, thank you.
You are welcome. You're most welcome, my dear. Okay, I'm now going to move on to our last, but definitely not least, young, amazing artist that we are going to, hopefully showcase her work tonight and help us understand how Saleha actually works. Saleha, can you just introduce yourself, please, and then talk us through your amazing artwork, which I have seen, and I had the pleasure of talking to you previously, which is nice for everybody else to get to know you now.
Yes, hello. My name is Saleha Saeed, and I'm a 23-year-old photographer, and I work mainly on Photoshop and Photobox.
Saleha,
Yes.
I'm looking at one of your pieces. Are you like Feyza? Are you self-taught?
Not really. I did A-levels in photography, but I focused mostly on portraits. However, all of my work that I've done since A-levels has been based on structure.
And you showcase where did you say you share your work? Is it on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Okay. I really love your work and I love the fact that you're using those structures. What inspires you? Why structures? Why not people or something else?
I think I like structures a lot more because I'm able to manipulate angles, and you can walk around one structure and have like 10 different pictures, but they'd all have like a different angle, and I like the dynamic of it. Also, I believe that structure has a lot of stories. Like I feel every brick has a story to tell. It's a lot of memories in just one.
I love that. Every brick has a story to tell. That is amazing. That's so true. I'm looking at your work. I would definitely honestly, I would want to buy it. And I would definitely have it in my house. Is there any way people, if they were interested is there opportunities for people to buy your work?
Currently, I do not sell anything. I'm hoping to sell some of my art pieces as tote bags for charity though. So inshallah, sometime soon.
Okay, well, when you do that, let me know. I'll be willing to buy a few of your pieces. I see you use really bold, striking colors. Is there a theme? Is there something that draws you to those colors, or?
Most of the time, there isn't really a theme. I just like the color, and I feel like once you have if you have those contrasting colors, it gives like a certain emotion that kind of like portrays the emotion.
And does your moods impact what colors you go with? I know with me, when I write, I use my writing to reflect. So depending on how I feel, what I'm going through in life, it would obviously change. Is that the case for you, or it's not?
I don't really think it's the case. I think it has a little bit of impact, but not a lot, only because I do make the same picture in different colors. So it kind of like has different stages of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that my feelings really are portrayed in my artworks.
Okay, and what are you working on currently? What's your plans?
Currently, I'm just trying to create a little bit more art. So hopefully.
Okay, and where can people follow you? I can see that you've put your...
Yeah, that's my Instagram handle, so you can follow me on Instagram.
Okay, and who inspires you? Is there any photographer that inspires you? And why photography? Because I've also asked everybody that. Why photography? What drew you to photography?
To be honest, when I was picking it in college, it was like another subject because I was doing maths and biology and chemistry. So it was like I wanted a subject that was just a little less demanding. However, it turned out to be one of the most demanding. So I don't know how well it actually worked out.
It is.
Yeah. So it was kind of, it started off like that. And yeah, for people who inspire me, I think a lot of the people that I follow on Instagram, like these young Somali people that have their artworks on Instagram, I think those people inspire me the most.
Okay, and has for you, like many people have said, as the lockdown enabled you to become more creative, have given you time to maybe experiment more?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I like your artwork. I mean, I love your photography. It's beautiful, and I would definitely buy it. There's a few pieces that I would buy, and there are a few questions that came up for you, but Hannah, I can't seem to access the questions. Is it because the screen is being used to showcase? Okay, so I've got a few questions for you that people have said. Oh, okay, no, I think that's been answered already. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much. If anybody has any extra questions or they'd like to ask, Hannah, do you have any more? It's just like the new way of doing this is so amazing, like, you know, trying to find questions at the same time. Okay. Someone asked, do you imagine stories that go with your artwork? That's a really good question. Do you imagine stories going with your artwork? I guess Saleha and Feyza can answer that. Saleha, do you want to answer that first?
Oh, I'm not sure if I imagine stories, but I kind of imagine the stories in the buildings when I'm taking pictures. I kind of imagine like what the people are doing inside the building and like make my own story up. But I don't know how it actually portrays into my actual art piece that I kind of edit afterwards. So.
Well, I'm guessing everybody will take something different because art speaks to the individual, correct?
100%. Yeah.
So I'm guessing they would probably make up their own stories, but I can see what you mean. Feyza, do you want to answer that question too?
Yeah, for me, I feel like there is always kind of put a story into my photographs. Like some of them literally sometimes have like an actual story that's going on along with it. It can be set in the 90s. Like the most recent one I've done, which was a portrait one, that one was like a 90s kind of story kind of thing.
Oh, mashallah. Someone said that they love, I think this might be for both of you, there's almost like this dreamy sort of fantasy element to both of your pictures. I see the moon, the stars, both of you kind of have this little dreamy theme, and both, someone's commented to say they love those elements. I've got one more question coming up. Someone asked you if you went to university to do your artwork. I'm guessing that is for you, Saleha. Did you go to university?
Yeah, I've just graduated.
You just graduated, mashallah. Okay, excellent, mashallah. And okay, so did you do, you know, the pieces that you showed us, did you do any of that during your
Oh no, I did engineering at university, so it had literally nothing to do with art.
So art is like your outlet almost.
Yeah, definitely.
You go for really high academic subjects to study, and art is your little outlet to be able to do what you need to do. Hands up, I guess, if that's the same for all of you. Feyza, what are you doing? Do you use artwork as an outlet to just be creative?
My artwork, do you say?
Yeah, do you use art, do you use photography as a way to be an outlet, a way of just letting just be creative and letting your creativity flow?
Yeah, definitely. I use my artwork for that, and also it's very therapeutic as well.
Yes.
So you can be as creative as you want, and there's no limits, which I love.
Excellent. Samia, would you say the same about your writing?
Pardon?
Would you say the same about your writing? Does writing allow you to be, is it therapeutic? Does it allow you to relax? Do you find it's just nice to just let go? And you said, because the first time you sat down to write, you just started and that's it. You couldn't stop after that.
Yeah, I'd say it is therapeutic because I just sit there and let all my ideas flow onto the page. I just write. I don't really take notes or plan the stories. I just write them. So because I can't sit down and think. I just like to put everything on the paper, and it really works for me. So
it works for me too. I write when I'm in the mood. What advice would you give to a young person, Samia, who is thinking about, I like writing, but may not have the confidence to sit down and just start? What would you say to them?
If you know you've got the passion, I think you have to sit down and try to write things and just experiment, because if you don't try, how will you know if you're good at it or if you can succeed in that field or anything? It can be really anything, just art, literature, anything, maths. You just have to try, sit down, get it done, like post some stuff, and then if people like it, you'll see, because you've experimented at the end of the day.
Great advice. Thank you very much. Hannah, unless you've got something to add?
No, I'm just gonna thank you all so much.
Definitely. Thank you all so much. You are definitely amazing young people. As a teacher, I'm always the one who's always talking about how the next generation, especially of Somali kids, or the next generation of Somali young people or children, are the ones to watch, and how they're the ones who are going to change the narrative for Somalis, because you are definitely going to be, our artists, our lecturers, our scientists. It's all of you are going to be the future that me as a parent and generations before you have been striving to. Thank you very much for giving us your time and for sharing your work. And it's been a pleasure having a conversation with you. And it's been an honor hosting. Kate, thank you very much for inviting me. Hannah, thank you for setting this up. And Hannah Ali and Ayan, who else am I forgetting?
Yeah. And Ibrahim for doing the closed captioning in the background. And
Definitely.
Thank you as well for hosting. You've been amazing. And thank you so much to all our fantastic performers. Don't forget that we'll be having more live shows to showcase our other artists of the week soon, and that we're still open for submissions, so please head to cage.org for more information as well, to see all their amazing work. It's all on Cage as well. It's been showcased. My name is Hannah Abdi, and you've been watching Cade's Confined but Creative Online Festival. You can follow us on all our social media platforms at Cade Somali Arts. Good night and stay safe. Thank you all so much. You guys were amazing.
Did you stop recording? Oh, you're still recording.
Mm-hmm.
You're still recording, you're still live, though you have. It's one of those when you're on the radio, you don't say anything until you know your mic is off.
We're still live.
I know. And I've done this a lot of time on radio, and I forget that I need to wait for the mic to be turned off before I'm told to say something. I carry on a conversation. But I really enjoyed myself. This is so refreshing to do. You guys have created an amazing platform for everyone.
Thank you.
And I say continue.
Honestly, it's been fun seeing all the submissions and working with everyone. It's been amazing.
I know, I can imagine. You are in a sort of very privileged place, aren't you, Hannah?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave.
Very much so.
Have a good evening, everyone. Take care.
Thank you all.
Bye,
Take
guys.
care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
qadarka rabna kama tallaabsanaye balse taxadir haystaban meel qudha ha taaban haystaban wejiga ha taaban tirtiro gacmahaaga madhmaydh tallaabo u jirso dadka kale hadduu ku taabanaa cidow tegini takooro naftaada baano tirtiro gacmahaaga madhmaydh tallaabo u jirso dadka kale hadduu ku taabanaa cidow tegini takooro naftaada baano tawxiidka alluunba tirtiri karaye talana eebbaaga saaro tawxiidka alluunba tirtiri karaye talana eebbaaga saaro